before I begin, my name is Chloé Messdaghi, and last name I know is like, wait, how do you pronounce that? It's Messdaghi. So it's like my rapper song. My name would be probably. Don't ask me to rap yet, though. So I'm going to talk about how to fix the diversity gap in cybersecurity, and I'm thrilled. Before I start, please silence your cell phones. That would be wonderful. Now, the topic we're going to talk about can be sensitive. If you ever need something, I have this nice little fox right here as your comfort. And plus, it's really adorable and it's my favorite animal in the world because of a book called The Little Prince. Has anyone ever read The Little Prince?
Oh, yeah.
So I collected in different languages. It's like that one book that it's like my Bible, inspired me as a child. Okay, let's dive into this. So we're going to talk about a few things, which is one, who am I? You're probably wondering. Diversity statistics. I guarantee you it's very short and scary. Our brains and labeling, we're going to dive into a little bit of cognitive science. Communication activity. So you guys are going to have some fun moment. And then a little bit of storytelling, and then some advice for you guys to take with you, and a Q&A. So let's begin. So, who am I? That's me. And my passion started when I was about 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to change the world. And what I wanted to do was empower kids of all backgrounds to be able to have the same access, the same anything that they wanted to do, the dreams of their life, they would be able to do so. And so I thought I was going to end up, you see international relations here, political research. I thought I was going to be I'd be out on the ground working for the UN or UNICEF, which I did do. I did do some of that. But then I was doing nonprofit work all the time for various nonprofits. I got lonely, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to apply for a job, and I'm going to work in one space. So when I applied for some work, a recruiter came out to me and was like, hey, what about this cybersecurity company? And I was like, cybersecurity? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know anything about it. But when I entered, I fell in love with it. I mean, you guys are amazing. It's like I've been bullied my whole life as a child, so for me, I always felt like that outsider. But then here, I feel like, oh, you can be whoever you want. You're totally accepted, and that is a beautiful thing, and not something you find in most industries. I do sit on numerous boards for underrepresented populations, especially with like women. And they're in Oakland, they're all over the world, and I love doing it. And these are some of these kids that I mentor in Oakland, and I am so excited to say that they're actually thinking about doing cybersecurity. Nice. I also started a nonprofit called Drop Labels, which is great. We partner with other nonprofits all around the world to share stories about breaking down barriers. And feel free to follow me on, this is like basically my tag on like every single social media. You can add me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you feel fancy. I'll even add you on Snapchat if you like. But yeah, so let's go into some stats. Women make up about 11% of cybersecurity. The statistic has been exactly the same since 2013. And the issue here isn't like there's not enough coming in. The thing is there's a lot coming out. And the reason for that is that companies are not there. They're not empowering these women. They're not allowing them to go break through these like glass ceilings. I wouldn't call it even a glass ceiling at this point. I would say a cement. Because let me tell you, I have gone through it, and let me tell you, it is just cement. It's terrible. Minorities do make up slightly less than 12% of the cybersecurity force as well. And we're looking at a 1.5 million shortage, which is terrible if you think about it. And usually underrepresented persons are the first ones to be let go or fired. All right, so let's dive into some more facts here. I love this quote. More companies are realizing that the only way to get great people is to invest in workforce diversity, social responsibility. Companies seeking to become more inclusive in their hiring should examine and question their own assumptions and unintentional biases in their hiring process. So how do we go about this? So I'm going to play you a quick video, and during this video, I asked for you to not think instead of just listen. Let's hopefully the sound works. What?
I feel labels keep
1 second.
our society.
Technical difficulties. All right. Anyone know how to do this really fast? Yeah. That's why I was like, I'm always using a Mac. Why isn't this doing it? Okay. Anyone want to help?
Escape.
I did that already. But it's
Also
not
back
working.
to this window and then hit escape.
Yeah.
Because you might have.
Yeah, it's not even showing up.
So you're good with computers.
Yeah, right?
I did that too.
Are there any computer experts? In
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Oh.
Here's the one you're on.
I think it's probably like the screen is on the other side.
Yeah.
So if you do that.
Alright.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stand right here. Do not move. Okay.
Next time we'll get the engineer instead of the marketing person.
Yeah, seriously. All right.
I feel labels keep our society divided. A label that I've always felt held me back, or at least sometimes would bring me down, is because I'm an African American, I'm some kind of criminal. They see me as African American male, and they instantly get nervous. Their wife will clutch their purse or their husband's arm a little more. They don't make it a point to be discreet while they're staring at my every move, not knowing that I'm on my way to class because I'm about to finish my master's, and not knowing I already have a bachelor's degree. Join me and many others in the Drop Labels campaign by posting your experiences with labels at droplabels.org.
That was not an ad. Okay, now I have to get back to PowerPoint. Awesome. All right. So let's dive a little bit into this. So watching that video is a little bit, you're thinking about it, but maybe it didn't register with you quite yet. And what happens is usually when you're in that elevator, for example, like he said, was that he would see that a woman would clutch her purse just a little bit closer to her. This is something that you won't notice until later. So let's dive in. There's 3 parts on how we actually register each other. We like to categorize, and the reason for that is because we have this flight or fight mechanism called the amygdala. So the amygdala is right here. This little guy right here is an unconscious thing. It just is it's based on our social constructed ideas of who is like us, who is not like us. So this could be from your parents once telling you, oh, if you see someone with pink hair, don't trust the person with pink hair. Sorry, I didn't mean it.
I was like, what?
So it could be, I don't know. Are you a really good hacker? Because now I'm really scared. I know. I'm like, what do you mean my flight's canceled?
Read the room.
Right. So social construction ideas, it could be anything to, as well as speaking as a woman myself, is the idea that I'm not good enough, which is something that we tend to take on very severely. So and then what happens is that we verify. We go to our prefrontal cortex. So the amygdala sends a signal like, oh my God, you have to act on this. This person is a threat. They're not like you, so you need to be scared. But this is the time when we can actually question that part in our prefrontal cortex. We can actually question, are you just being paranoid? Is this socially constructed? So it actually questions stereotypes and beliefs. And that's what we're going to focus on more, is how do we get to this point so we're not always in our amygdala basically dictating how we should think about each other. So, part 3, action. Always know you can question your biases. Everyone can. You just take that 1 second, and when you're like, oh, you know what, I feel like I'm going to lock my car door while I'm driving. Let me tell you, it's paranoia. It's what you see in movies. It's what you hear about. If anything, at the end of the day, I want you to think about that person that you just did that to. That's what we need to think about. So you need to get outside of your comfort bubble. Now we're going to play a little activity. If you're sitting next to someone that you know, please move. I'm gonna give you guys about 30 seconds to find someone that you do not know. And this is only gonna work if you do not know a person.
I was looking at each other shit.
Play musical chairs. Let's do this.
I'll make it work somehow.
You want?
Apocalypse survival team.
Okay. All right. Now you're ready for the next step? Everyone found someone they don't know? I love how everyone just suddenly came in the front. I'm like, yes! You're not scared of me anymore! Oh my god! Okay, so activity time. This is what we're gonna do. Everyone has a partner.
Yes.
Who does not have a partner?
I don't. I just got here.
You wanna be my partner?
Sure.
Come on. Oh, okay. You're good. You're good. Stay there. Stay there. Everyone has a partner. You gotta have one person.
There you go. Yeah.
We're good?
You
have a partner?
Partner?
Excellent. So this
Okay.
is gonna be the
We'll just make it
hardest
work.
thing in the world. I guarantee you. We're gonna do a little communication activity. During this time, you're gonna do whatever you can to listen to one person talk. And during that time when that person's talking, you cannot be thinking, what should I say next? You cannot respond to anything that they say. All right, so during that time, you're just gonna listen and take in info. And every time you catch yourself putting someone in a category or trying to figure out who is this person, are they like me, not like me, I want you to be like, no. And you're gonna try to rewire back. Now, how this is gonna work is you're gonna talk about yourself. You're gonna talk about who you are, where you come from, and you're gonna do that for 5 minutes. So, pick your first person. Who's talking first? If you're talking first, raise your hand. If you're talking first, raise your hand.
I'll do it. For 5 minutes now, like my voice is shot.
Okay. Oh, we're good. Thank you. Okay. All right, timer's going on. If you get in a moment now, think about this. Sometimes people get really personal. So originally I was going to do it for 2 minutes, but then I'm like, oh, it's not going to work. 5 minutes is when it works because suddenly you start opening up with this person because you're starting to feel like, oh my god, are we having empathy here? Like, you're listening to me? Oh my god, this is so rare. You're not thinking about who I am when I'm not like me? Oh my god. Okay. You guys ready? So remember, whatever they say, you cannot react. In other words, don't say anything. You're gonna listen, and you're gonna keep catching yourself, and it's gonna be insane. Are you ready for this? You ready to get to know your brain and this person? All right, it's starting. 5 minutes begins now.
Alright, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, we'll just double up. So yeah, I'm Chris Miller. I'm with Amazon security engineer, specifically hunting. For that, here I are. Went to Bride, moved to Costa Rica before I joined Amazon in Seattle. And then for that, what was it for? Yeah, I was in Texas. Yeah, I was in Texas between Silicon Valley and Houston. College for mission security, starting in 2005 to 2010. I also did double computer science, of course. And then went straight for USA, which is a military banking and insurance company. Did I work for them? I worked for them in data towers. Other than that, I'm senior staff at Sites. I run the network for Jack Daniel. I love Besides, I've been volunteering for Besides since 2008. Basically since college and so basically, yeah, I like opportunities like this where I can get to like Amazon to sponsor conferences. So I'm really excited to sponsor this one. It's kind of curious about some of the talks that I see here. So I didn't realize that we have this for 5 minutes. I'm sorry I can't speak for 5 minutes.
Keep going. Keep going, trust me. The real stuff usually starts coming out in about a minute.
Is that?
Just keep going. Don't talk to
This
me.
is
Talk to
shy.
I know.
That's
I know.
easy.
Whisper. 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 Get closer. You're a new family.
The worst part of this is I have to actually give a presentation on what I'm to the vice president. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this. So,
2 more minutes.
I partied a little too hard last night. It was at Aquasun. It was fun. It was Cascade. I totally was. I slipped on the floor and busted my ass and I had a giant bruise. So yeah, that's about all I got. I can't do it anymore.
Man, I've got
You get to ask the questions.
Hello.
I told that to Amazon that you can answer questions. He's not allowed to ask them.
Yeah. We have so many people now that I don't actually know who express it. I was at a recruiting event last night. I ended up talking to like 3 Amazon. I thought they were candidates. It was horrible. Yeah, that works I sung too hard at karaoke and partied too hard last night. We're good, right? Almost there. They have to be.
Give us in a minute.
I just got these ones to 5 minutes straight. My talk's over. I'm done. Wait, this isn't your laptop. Okay.
You're not supposed to be talking to me.
Why not? You're
We're
part
not
of
having
it.
a conversation. We're not supposed to have a
I'm trying
conversation.
to include you in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why, you don't want to talk to me?
I'll talk to you afterwards. Jeez. Christ's sakes, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook me. We'll have some good conversations.
How do you like your books? Feel good? I'm hoping you're releasing new ones in September, October.
All right, and stop. Wow. All right, don't say anything. Quiet completely. That's how this works. No talking. Just say for a second. That was weird, huh? All right. Now we're going to switch around. So next person's going to talk, and remember the rules. You're not supposed to respond. You can only nod your head, in other words. And just be there for this person. Listen to them, okay? 5 minutes. Begins. Everyone's good? All right. Here we go.
make up their mind what it's like. One mountains and all the things, and all the cold stuff that live in Chicago, so you can't choose one or the other. I love snowboarding, so that's the reason I love the mountains. This weather, I'm totally not used to it. It's getting ridiculous. It's like much hotter sometimes in Denver, but it's never the same. It's like 20 degrees inside, it's like 10% humidity, so it doesn't feel like we're out. Chicago's nice, you got the music on the lake, so I'm not going to figure it out. I'll be there to sing just a little bit, I'm jealous that I get to the house. I love the young music. House music, many countries in Europe, Southeast Europe, Africa is probably the most interesting. I went to Morocco, so it's almost like a Middle East. And there's some countries around Switzerland and Norway, South of the United States.
You know I have questions. Damn it.
I'm going. Hey, you can't use that. I was really stressed out today, trying to get shirts, and pretty much paying into everybody's ideas. Trying to get me DEFCON shirts. This is my first DEFCON, first B-sides Las Vegas, I volunteered over. Yeah. I was a little bit yeah, I mean, just I got the borrowed a badge for Black Hat, so I got to step in there. Yeah, so far it's amazing. Just like getting with that. I just think it's really good. And that's really cool. So it's good for you right there when I talk because they don't feel rude to listen to the staff. So I'm still waiting to go to my first DEFCON talk. I'm thinking my graduate class. I'm interested in family stories and all in the United States.
And stop. All right. All right.
That would have been really my first question.
Yeah.
If you can hear me, clap your hands once. If you can hear me, clap your hands twice. If you can hear me, clap your hands 3 times. Yeah, it really pays off to work with kids sometimes. Okay, so, not that way. No, I'm gonna be hacked by all of you. All right, so first things first. You can move back to where you were, or you can stay where you want. It's up to you. But in the first moment right now is, let's share some experience. how did you guys feel? Like, raise your hand. Cool.
It's really hard to not ask questions.
Right.
But I'm a recruiter, so.
Yeah.
I mean, forget even asking questions. It's hard to not even vocalize, like, like, oh, yeah. Convey any kind of emotion.
Right.
Other than,
I was literally vocalizing the whole time. I was like, I was not supposed to do that or what?
No, you can do that. It's totally fine. As long as you're not like, oh my god, me too. Yes.
It's pretty fun. It's like playing the staring game.
Right. It's a staring game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What were some other thoughts?
I remember a lot more about the person than if I'm trying to
Exactly.
talk. Yeah.
Now, the people that were talking, I want to hear about what you were thinking at the time. Yeah?
I felt a little rude, not you know, like I've always learned, like, right, not to just talk to people,
Right.
like, at people or whatever. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah, I was sad.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was just very difficult to talk about myself for 5 minutes.
Right. Right.
Very long time.
Exactly.
I didn't feel rude, I felt more vulnerable. Because I knew I was probably sharing more than I would have normally with a stranger, even if we had spoken for
Right.
a half hour. So
And that's the one thing you realize is that's why if I did 2 minutes, you would have not deep dive in yourself. Like right when that cusp of that last minute, there's like this door, this like secret door that's like, I'm gonna tell you everything. My secrets and everything like that. Yeah?
I was gonna say I felt conceited because I didn't hear anything from the other person about their stories. So it's
Right? Yeah. Okay.
It's more like lack of validation. When you get the nod,
Yeah.
you don't get the vocal validation that you're being heard.
Yeah.
Even though you know you're being heard.
Love it.
So it's like,
Okay.
It's sort of at a weird odds, right? Because you're being quiet to be respectful, but it actually feels like you're being rude to not interact in a civil way and like give that verbal feedback to people, like, oh great, or oh terrible, so, oh that's a cool story, and like it actually feels rude, but it's the opposite of that. That was really bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you don't know how many details you're supposed to, the other person's interested in, right? Because you start talking about a topic, and in a conversation you would dive deeper by like interacting, and here you're like, well, I could tell you like 1,000 more things about that one thing, but I usually stayed at the surface, and that goes in more breadth, and then you run out of topics, and then you get to like, okay, I guess I have to tell you personal things now because.
It's that magical door starts clicking in. It's like favorite countries, favorite food, where I grew up, my name. Oh my God, I said my name. I introduced myself, right? What are my things that I like? I'm not gonna say what I dislike. I don't want you to judge me yet. What were some thoughts that were going through your head too now? Did you guys catch okay, let's just do it this way. We'll do it very easy. Raise your hand if you felt that you were catching yourself trying to figure out this person, putting them in some sort of categories and boxes every time they said something. Raise your hand.
Just once. What do you mean?
Just once?
Like if you're listening or?
Yeah, like categories. Like the person's like, oh yeah, like one of my favorite movies is like, I don't know, Pride and Prejudice. And you're like, oh, you're that type of person.
Attaching labels.
Attaching labels. Exactly.
I'm gonna drop it. I was like, I think we gotta drop it.
Yeah. Let me just drop it. But yeah, that was a weird experience, and I'm pretty sure all you guys want to talk to each other right after this because you have all these questions now. Okay. So there are not as many minority cybersecurity professionals in the community or in movies to depict those roles. The minority cybersecurity professionals that I know made a career switch to pursue technology after leaving the cybersecurity industry. This is a really, really sad thing because if you think about it, I've been talking to all these different influencers in the field because I just want to know everything about it. And they've all said that, oh, I'm actually looking elsewhere. I'm going to switch over to Google. I'm going to go to Facebook. I'm going to go work for Salesforce. I can't do this anymore. I've been here for like 8 to like 20 years, and I'm just tired. So you're going to hear some stories. They're going to be short. And I'll take a pause at every story that I tell you, and you guys can ask questions if you do, okay? So the first person, all these names have been changed. They're not, so to keep them safe. So Rebecca is a CISO. She basically she's in another room and she's talking to some other men, and she asked them, like, why aren't you hiring this other woman to be a CISO? She's been in the field. She came from the bottom, now she's here. She's been there for like 25 years. She should be up there. Oh, because I don't feel like women are that strong in math, was the response. Has anyone else heard that? No?
Yes.
Yes. All right, next one. So Remy works at sales. She was working in sales for this cybersecurity company. She's fantastic at what she does. She's like one of the top performers. And suddenly they brought in a new person in sales, a new VP of sales. And this guy's like, I'm going to hire every single man out there. So she became the only woman in sales now. And so the thing is, though, being a woman in sales and working with a lot of other men, sometimes they can say some things that they should not be saying, something that's kind of like on the borderline of sexual harassment. Or should I just say it is sexual harassment? So she goes and complains to the VP because they didn't have an HR. And what she told him, he turned around and was like, you need to get yourself in line, otherwise I'm going to have to let you go. Because I think you're just being that woman. Anyone else have heard such things? Yeah? All right, Di. Di works in sales too. So Di asked for a raise. And her boss says, look, Di, I would give you this raise. Trust me, you're our top performer. You overexceed everyone. And I know you're always giving out more to the team and putting it under their name, so then our whole team in general looks better because you are our top performer. But if I give you this bonus, if I give you that title change, then that shows me to everyone else that maybe because you're Asian American and a woman, that I'm giving you special treatment because I'm Asian American as well. Interesting story, right? Cleo. Cleo is marketing. Basically, she was in marketing. She was doing a lot of different things. And she started interviewing a bunch of other women. And during this time, when she was interviewing women, they were saying, oh yeah, I hate it. I'm like, I'll be in a conference room. Next thing I know, someone that comes up to me and says, oh, can you dial in? It's not my meeting, but they always say it. Or better yet, if I'm going out to get some water, someone's like, oh, can you get me a cup of water too? Now, Cleo had no idea about this until she started hearing this often, and then she started noticing that's happening to me as well. Anthony, he works in design, and basically a bunch of the office, he's the only African American in this company, and one of the persons is like, we should do a hip-hop party. And he's like, what do you mean by hip-hop party? And it's like, you know, we can like dress up, we could have like cornrows in our hair, we could listen to hip-hop music, we could dress up like that. And he just stays silent in the back. It's just like, what's going on? And I can't say anything because I'm by myself right now. When everyone else in that office is pretty much white, male, mostly, and they're all like, yeah, let's do it on Friday. Oh my God, we can listen to like this song and that song, and we can make that gin and juice. And we can all dress up and get that saggy jeans going on. Yeah, I'm rough too. And you know what? Let's do it. Let's get some photos in it too. You hear this a lot in college parties, you know? It's just, don't do it, people. Tanya. Tanya is an African-American woman. She works for a really, really big, well-known company in security. And she's been there for 20 years. I kid you not, 20 years. She's incredible. But they've only kept her as manager. For 20 years, she's been a manager. Rita. Rita is a pen tester. She's looking to apply for different roles, and she's also looking at different companies. And on a phone call with her, she told me, the first thing I do, Chloe, is I look at the website. If I see that there's no women on the board, I pause. But the thing is that there is really no women on boards in cybersecurity. So then I look at executives. And when I look at executives, I look to see if there's another woman. And usually, the only woman I see on there is HR. And I asked her, I'm like, well, you could be that first woman, that one who champions other women, and you get her, and you get this other woman to come on board. And she's like, no, Chloe, let me tell you what happens. When you try doing that, you are setting yourself for a huge climb, and it's not going to always be successful, because that means other women have probably tried and they also left the field. And now she works at a different company that's not in cybersecurity. Frank works for NATO. Frank is African-American male, and he says he can't take a vacation. He works all hours. Anytime they ask anything, he doesn't give them any problems. And the reason for that is he's like, they keep track of when I come in, when I don't come in, because they think I'm that lazy African-American guy. And I don't want anyone to think that about me. So I work really hard. I work all hours. I maybe sleep 2 to 3 hours a day. I don't have kids on the weekends, and I've been in this field for the longest time, and now I'm regretting it. But that's the only life that I know now. Any thoughts on any of these stories? Have you heard of similar stories? And then have you heard of any new stories or anything you want to share with this room? I know it's sensitive.
The bro culture is pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
Not in security necessarily, but just in general.
Yeah. Anything else?
Insecurity too, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I think a lot of your stories were also very kind of in your face versus unconscious bias.
Right.
I feel that a lot of the time people think, well, I'm inclusive, I like everybody, but you don't feel that way, and they're not doing anything or saying anything as in your face as this, as much as they're not creating an environment that makes everybody feel comfortable and welcome.
Yeah.
And it may not be anything that is, I want to have a hip hop party or something.
Right.
It's just little things that you can incorporate into daily activities, the way that you speak to people or ask them for reviews.
Right.
Just little things that aren't more about inclusion versus
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a great point. And I'm glad that you raised your hand, because that's what we're going to dive into next. So the thing about stories is that as we have learned about the amygdala and our prefrontal cortex, it's the one part when we hear other person's stories, when you see their actual face, it challenges our own perspectives and beliefs. But the only way that we actually listen to a story is when we're not thinking, who is this person? What are they saying? Instead of really being there for them. Because you might not realize it now, but maybe later today, maybe in a couple weeks, suddenly you will remember something, and you'll catch yourself in this moment where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been doing that for the longest time. But the only way how to get there is you have to also get uncomfortable with yourself. You need to get uncomfortable to learn new things. And this is one of the things, is getting outside your comfort bubble is really scary. But also looking at yourself and being like, I cannot believe that I can't look at myself that way. I don't want to see negative because I feel like everyone's always judging me, and I don't want to think like that. But honestly, that's what we also need to do, is take full initiative in ourselves. What are we doing that's creating this problem too? Because we all are in this room, believe it or not. Unconsciously or consciously, we are all doing it. It can also remove blindfolds, like I told you about that story about Cleo. She was talking to people, and then when she found out, other women are saying that every time they go into a room, they're asking for her to dial in. She had no idea that she was just dealing with discrimination right there. Until she heard some other story, it clicked. So, how do we apply all of this right now to solve the gap? First thing is, you can always speak up and try to push your company to have more diverse execs and board members. This is a tricky one. Depending how big the company is, this might be an impossible task. But if it's a small one, you can actually be heard a lot more by having another person to join forces with you. Now, I know this one's a challenging one, so I put this one first because the other ones, they're a little bit easier. You can start by going out and volunteering and getting other colleagues to join you. And that means starting early to promote the field. The earlier, the better. Like I said, I had no idea cybersecurity was something for me until someone came to me much later in life. But if someone came up to me when I was younger and said, hey, do you want to feel like you want to know about this community? Did you know there's all these different options? And I probably would have been like, oh, you know what? I didn't even know that. Also, the other thing is seeing other people like myself, a woman, talking about it as a younger kid. That would be really beneficial. And I have a nice little thing for you guys next. So this is one of my other students that I've mentored, and I finally convinced him to do cybersecurity, and I got him to do a spoken word poem for you guys. You guys ready for this? All right, now I have to try to figure this out again. Let's do this. Oh, dear God.
You got it?
Or not. Nope. Oh, yeah, that was great. Hold on.
Press the way, maybe?
It's not working on there.
Move the mouse to the right. Yeah, you gotta keep it so you can get the cursor on that menu, and then you go down and you can minimize it.
Okay.
Because it's just using the TV as a, looks like a secondary display.
Hold on.
What do you need to do? This?
I need to play. Oh, why is PC so challenging for me?
If you just move the mouse over, yeah, keep
Okay.
it all the way over. See, it ends there.
You guys
but
realize
you can
I
go
work
further.
at Microsoft and worked on Windows, right?
Thank you.
Nope, I do not.
All right, cool. Here we go. Now, hopefully the volume is pretty good. So here we go.
Cybersecurity is more than coding intent. It's a passion and fear for success. There's a team that can help clean up any mess. They live to serve and they serve to protect. They use their passion and hard work to make differences. They don't just push keys and computers and show up to 2 or 3 conferences. They protect your phones, tablets, and iPads. They help prevent viruses, pop-up ads. They protect valuable information across the cities and states and nations.
This is live, it goes. But you can all come closer, I'll play it again. How about that?
They install malware, they have trackers to keep you and your information safe. They have backup plans for their backup plans just in case. They don't like to brag because who knows? You may be better than they ever were. Hashtag create new heroes.
I know that you can hear it, right? I'll show it again later. Or you can come up here and listen to it. Or I'll tweet it. Or if you follow me on Instagram, it's on there.
Does the mic work, or is it just for recording?
I have no idea. Is it just
It looks like a
that
record.
up to
It
the
looks like a
speaker.
recording mic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, the HDMI is going to VGA, so we don't have any output. Actually, you know what? I just remembered something.
Ooh, this is exciting.
Someone left the 2.5 millimeter.
What? Okay. All right.
And then we put that in the converter. Try again.
All right. You guys ready to watch
wait,
it
then
again?
I have to do the settings here.
Yeah.
I was like,
That is pure plug and play.
Digital sound, open sound settings, and then you go to speaker HP to VGA SC internal driver.
And the good news, this is the last video I'm showing everyone, so I think we're good.
And in theory, if I don't screw up, and I screwed up.
Or maybe the TV sound needs to be on.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
In that case, where is the remote?
Anyone seen a remote around? Oh wait, that looks like a remote right there.
There it is.
Oh, all right. Here we go.
Play. And we're good. Okay. No, sorry, folks.
No problem. What we'll just do.
We didn't actually have the budget for extra speakers this year.
It's all right. What you guys can do is follow me on Instagram and have it. Okay.
We'll also have her slides online and on video, probably within a few weeks.
Cool. All right. So because you couldn't hear it, but I'll tell you one thing that he wasn't aware. So these kids had no idea that, there's good hackers, there's bad hackers or whatnot. But he was just he's like this troublemaker in school. Like he doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere. He's really bored in class. So when I told him hey, let me introduce you to a few people. And so I introduced him to a few hackers and he's like, okay, Chloe, I want to do it. Tell me what do I need to do. So this is untapped talent in many ways. So the other thing is you can attend conferences like this one that empower underrepresented persons. This is Day of Security. Has anyone heard about this one? It was in San Francisco.
That was me in the
Yeah,
front.
yeah. That's me right there.
And I'm over there next to the red backpack.
Yep.
Yep.
And then this is a classroom. It was probably one of the most empowering conferences I've ever been. I walked in, I'm like, oh my God, there's a line for the restroom for women. This is so strange in cybersecurity. Going to RSA and I'm seeing this line wrapped around for all men, and then the women, I'm like, is it closed or something? I'm not used to this. Get involved in outreach, participate in volunteering. If you want to help kids out like that one who just did a spoken word for all of us, get out there, talk to them, be like, this is what I do all the time. And if you need help finding organizations that do that, come to me. I am more than happy to connect you with some people. Participate in volunteering. So this is a STEM conference that I was teaching. I was teaching young youth from middle school and high school about cybersecurity, what to expect, things like that, and how to break down some doors as well. And then this one is Hacking for Humanity, which is girls in tech, which is great. Because those people would love probably to join cybersecurity. They just never knew that it was an option for them. But they're brilliant. Like I said, my favorite book. So at the end, a big takeaway is that change starts with you and me. So listening to stories is actually so important and useful. And also taking action. Don't just sit there and hear what's going on. If you're seeing discrimination, you speak out. Because that person most likely doesn't know they're being discriminated, or they're too scared to say something because they're worried they'll lose their job. So it's so important that all of us make that kind of promise that we will be there, we will be their champions. Even if it's someone that you don't know or you never talk to, but you see something wrong, do something, say something. Because let me tell you, that is how change happens. And putting other people in awkward positions, change happens that way too. So the 3 takeaways is personal stories are powerful. Next one is push your company to increase their diverse talent by volunteering, sponsoring, and listening. In return, awareness can happen. So once again, go out there, volunteer, get more colleagues to join you, then get your company to be like, you know what? I think we should do this event. Maybe come and help out hacking diversity for next year. And allow yourself to become uncomfortable and vulnerable. I know it's very hard, but that's how we change too, because it's us at the end of the day. What are we putting out there as well? And lastly, it's very important that it is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Another plug, of course. And the reason I love this quote is because it reminds us that when we were kids, children, toddlers, we didn't care what the other person looked like. We didn't care who they came from. We just wanted to play with them at the end of the day. And I think that's something we need to remind ourselves about. So once again, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. That's my handle. I also have a website. You can follow wherever I am. And any questions? I may have some answers. The foxes are amazing. Yeah, see? Comfort fox. Any questions?
You mind if I actually make the screen bigger?
Oh, go for it. Yeah?
I was just jokingly asked, what does the fox say?
Dad jokes.
But does anyone ask how the fox feels?
No.
Oh! Yeah! Okay, we totally, that was terrible.
Better?
Yes.
This is your vision test. This is 2020. You good?
Cover one eye.
I will follow you back. Don't worry. I'm not one of those people that's like, I want more followers, and I'm not gonna follow you back. No, and connect with me if you're ever in San Francisco. That's where I'm located. I'm more than happy to meet up with you guys. I'm even here for until tomorrow night. So if you want to get a drink, get some coffee, some tea, or just hang out and just chat, I'm here for you. And if you want my phone number, come up here and I'll give it to you. And that is all I have for you guys.